say that this undoing or atonement, so the atonement is the undoing of every thought that hurts you. So when you hear the word atonement, it doesn't mean making up for something because you're such a horrible person and what you've done to somebody. Atonement means I'm going to have all thoughts of separation and guilt and fear undone. And he says, this is the key thing. He says what? And once begun is, what's the word? Unstoppable. So what does it mean? Cool. So what does it mean to know that now that you've started the way back to love and unity, it is unstoppable, that it's going to happen whether you like it or not? Well, the term unstoppable means it's going to be inevitably accomplished. So whenever you go, I know inevitably I am going to experience what I really want to experience and what really brings me joy and what's really love and what's really, and it's inevitable that I succeed. I'm trying to wake up to who I really am, know the love that I am, know the joy that I am going to succeed, inevitably concede. To say that is to be unstoppable.
Yes. Woo!
If I say eventually I'm going to love you and have peace with you, Kimberly, we're in a relationship with each other and we're going to eventually know that we are one, then we have a relationship that is unstoppable. Because no matter what comes up, we know it's not going to stop us because we believe that it's inevitable that you and I love each other. And so you go right past any obstacle that comes up in the relationship. Because you believe that your relationship is unstoppable. Why? Because you believe in each other enough to believe at some point y'all going to have some freaking sense with each other. That you're going to actually really see each other and recognize each other. And not have a love that's all based on bargains made with guilt. If you don't do this, then I'm going to do that. And if you do this, then I'm going to do that. And I'm going to withdraw this if you do that. And I'm not going to love you if you... All that bargain love. See, the Course teaches us that that's not love. It's just a bargain. And it's just a bargain. So if you break the bargain, then you break the relationship. Because it wasn't a relationship in any way. It was just a bargain. That's why I try to be in relationships with people I like.
That's a good start.
I find that when I'm with people I like, it's easier for me to appreciate them, acknowledge them, recognize them. I used to do just the opposite. I would spend all my time with the people that I had problems with and not pay any attention to the people I had a lot of peace and love with because I thought those relationships were handled. And since those relationships were handled, I didn't need to put an investment in those. So I found myself constantly trying to correct one relationship and then correct another relationship, correct the relationship with my children, then correct the relationship with my parents, then correct the relationship with my boss. Why? Because all the rest of the happy relationships, they're handled. So I'm going to put all my energy into everything that doesn't make me happy as a sign of spiritual development. And then we're shocked when there seems to be more and more people to work on. The reason why there seems to be more and more people to work on is because whatever you put your energy into increases.
Wow.
So the people that you got along with disappear. Now before you know it, they don't even call you no more. You don't see them no more. You don't know what's happening with it. And then you find that you're totally preoccupied with the one person that you're always having to process with, explain with, you're upset with. But that's the person you find that you're with 90% of the time. And you don't realize it's because your separated self is focusing on that which does not satisfy it and therefore increasing it. Where if you focus on where you did feel love and satisfaction and connection, you would feel so strong, you would feel so loving, you would feel so happy that the other person who was a so-called problem person would no longer be a problem simply because they couldn't affect your joy. And the fact that they could affect your joy was the only reason why they were a problem in the first place. The only reason why that person was a problem to you in the first place was that you allowed them to affect how you felt, right? That's why you're trying to fix everything, because you don't like how you feel. So if you were so full of love and joy because you were so surrounded and invested in the people that love you, that you would be invulnerable to the person that seems like they don't, then you feel okay with them too, and then your problem with them would end. Because it was just a reflection of how you felt to begin with. But now you've changed the way you feel. Why? Because I'm connecting with the people who appreciate me. So now I've changed the way I feel about myself. Since I've changed the way I really feel about myself, I'm naturally going to change the way I feel about you. As soon as I change the way I feel about you, you change. That's the way it works. When I change the way I feel about you, you change. Because the way I felt about you was just the way I felt about you anyway. It always was just the way I felt about you. Does this make any sense? Is this
Yes.
clicking with anybody? Is it, is it
Yes,
making
that
sense?
makes total sense.
Too much.
Too much that I
Right, so don't ask any questions.
I know.
Okay, y'all be careful. Y'all don't forget, no questions. No questions, because you might get some response that you could do.
There's no one of them.
Yeah, so I had to admit, I don't want to forgive my father for what I think my father did to me. I don't want to forgive him. See, then you get to the point that you will tell the truth about your feelings. And then when you tell the truth about your feelings, instead of feeling more guilty, you actually feel more innocent because you're finally telling the truth. You feel guilty because you're lying about how you feel and pretending you don't feel the way you feel. So I put it this way. I hate my father, but I'm telling everybody I don't. I feel guilty because I'm lying. I hate my father. I admit I hate my father. I don't feel guilty because I just told the truth about how I feel about my father. So I don't feel guilty because I'm not lying. I hate my father. Now that I can admit I hate my father, I can also see that that's a perception that would probably be best for me to change for my own sake, but not till I tell myself I freaking hate my father.
When you said, when I change how I see you, is that what you said?
Yeah, when I change how I feel about you, you change.
Okay.
Because whatever I'm going through with you is just a reflection of how I feel about you anyway.
Which is based on a misperception.
Which is
from
based
the start.
from the start. What is misperception? That somehow or another my happiness has something to do with you.
Yeah.
That's the misperception. That somehow the way I'm feeling right now, you are somehow responsible for it. That's always the one misperception. It's number one, by the way. I know we're trying to correct hundreds. The course says there's just one error.
Yeah.
That's all. That if you were to say all day, I have only one problem. I know you may like you have 100, but you were to say all day, I have just one problem. I just have one problem. If you know what would happen if you told yourself all day you had but one problem, you feel better. Because right now you may be upset because you think you got many issues you got to deal with right now. So at the very least you go from 30 problems that you're dealing with to one. That's got to feel better.
Absolutely.
It's got to feel better. And what is that one problem? I think I'm separate from God. I think I'm separate from love. I think I'm separate from my abundance. I think I'm separate from the truth. I think I'm on my own. I think I'm a body. I think I got to make it. But that's the one problem, is that I've lost sight of my connection to source.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it takes the form of my bills and my health problem and my relationship problem. Those are all forms of the one problem, which is I think I'm separate from source. I think I'm here on my own. And I can understand people feeling that way, because if you were like me, you learned some really fearful perceptions of God. I don't blame people for not believing in God, a lot of them, or higher power. I didn't believe in that God either. And so I thought something was wrong with me because I thought it was crazy. How can you love me and want to kill me? I'm sorry. I don't buy it. Even if you say it's for my own good. Sorry. How can you love me and tell me you want me to suffer for an eternity? I ain't buying it. Who would buy it? Somebody who believes they need to suffer for an eternity. And it's more of those than me. And they will get mad at you if you say they don't deserve to suffer for an eternity. So what do you do with people like that? You leave them alone. You let them be. You bless them where they are, because that's the path that they need to learn the lessons that they need. As a matter of fact, maybe the only reason why they haven't blown your head off is because they believe they're going to go to hell. Maybe if you took hell away from them, they would become a sociopath. Who knows? It might be that belief in hell that's keeping them acting right. Who knows? I just know it don't work for me. I'd much rather be motivated by reward and love and compassion than for somebody to put their foot on my neck to make me do right. But you know what? Some parts of me need feet on my neck. How do I know that that's true? How do I know that that's true? How do I know that that's true? Because it's happening.
Yeah.
So the person who has the foot on their neck is the person who needs the foot on their neck. That sounds cold, doesn't it? If there are no victims, then therefore it is something about their spiritual path that calls for that experience to happen to them, or it wouldn't be happening. So how do I deal with it? I tell the Holy Spirit, if it's something that I'm supposed to do to lighten that, end that, change that, you let me know and I'll do it. But I'm not going to make the decision to help them on my own because I don't know what's best for them.
Yeah.
It's arrogant for me to even say, I know what's best for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So you want to have a really peaceful week, go, I don't really know what's best for
for you.
nobody I know.
That's right.
And you find your judgment to drop off.
Yes.
You'll let them be more.
Yeah.
Because the only reason why you get upset maybe is because you think you know what's best for them. And they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And now you're mad. Because it's such a great way to take the attention off of what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about. It's about you not dealing with yourself. So you all caught up in my business
Yeah.
called living in the South. Okay. That's the thing about living in the South, man. You live in the South, those of you know who are from the South, you know what I'm talking about. People feel like it's perfectly okay to be all the way in your business. They practice the oneness at a level you just don't realize. So you are unstoppable, and everything that you're trying to do will inevitably be accomplished. And what you're trying to do is know love and know the truth and know your joy and get rid of everything that keeps you from having it. Right?
Right.
Okay. Would you acknowledge yourself for listening to this much tonight? You know, acknowledge yourself. I like to call it yourself. It's voice that told us to do it. Then people say, well, how can you tell the difference between when you're hearing the voice with God in you and when you're listening to your own voice? And in the Course of Love and the Course of Miracles, both, that's what the books are for. They're there to teach you how to tell the difference between when you're getting ready to follow the guidance of the party, you're just going to jam you up. And when you're listening to the party, you're just going to steer you right. But there are certain clues that you'll learn through the Course in Miracles and the Course. The Course in Miracles to me is the best psychology book ever written. And the Course of Love to me, it joins my mind with my heart in a way I've never seen before, so that the thoughts that you have manifest even faster, your desires manifest even faster. So I want to ask, before I do the last part of the review, I want to ask you, I'm just going to throw a question out, and anybody that would care to answer it would be so cool. And the question is this: why are you here? Why do you come to this class?